There's Camille. We are so excited to have Camille Pendleton from the Small Business Development Center at UVU here with us today. And we are so excited to share with her. And we've been working with her on our end, and she and Connie have met a few times, which is wonderful. We've been able to get to know Camille a little bit, and she is local. And let me just tell you a little bit about Camille. So Camille has been working with, she's a business mentor. Let me pull, sorry, one second.
Oh, no, I can do the bio. I just wanted
you do that for me, but yeah, I just want to
okay. I was like, you were going to do the bio. I just wanted you to welcome him in. Sorry about that. We just got done with a whole bunch of juicy stuff. You're so cute. Let me read her bio because it's super stellar. I met with this gal and I'm telling you, it was like fire, like choo, 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 choo. And I'd ask her something and she'd be like, I got that. Oh yeah. And then she'd be like, oh, I think there's this person. She goes, and then pulls out the paper or whatever for the person. I was like, you're my kind of gal. So this is cute Camille. After completing an MBA from Utah State University, Camille was a consultant with Kinetic-based Abraham Y. Goldratt Institute. Hopefully I got that right. There she helped many industries and types of businesses improve using the theory of constraints, which I love. She later became the vice president of manufacturing at Ball Seal Engineering, Inc. in California, where she guided the fulfillment end of the company's growth to $25 million. Currently an SBDC regional director, she mentors business owners and helps them to be successful. So today we are thrilled to have her take a few minutes with us. We thought it would be great if she just gave a little bit of introduction of herself, of what she specifically does to help people, and then gave us some tips and tools of, okay, you're starting your business and you're growing your business. Here's some number one tools that I'd love to share with you. And then we're going to open it up for Q&A, or you can start putting the questions on the chat, and then we'll just do the Q&As at the end. Camille, take it away.
All right, thank you. Oh, I'm really excited to be here with you ladies. This is great. So I'm primarily what I do is I'm a business advisor, right? So I use my eclectic background and to help people find out where they are stuck or figure out a path on where they need to go. So that's what I do. And the Small Business Development Centers, it's a national program. It's been around for more than 43 years. It's in every single state in the United States. And this is a program that the SBA supports through federal dollars. About half the funding comes from the federal dollars, and the other half is usually supplied by the state. And they're partnered with universities. So you can find an SBDC usually with a university, and they offer you free confidential business advising. And the great part about that is that each SBDC in your local area knows what your local rules and regulations are. And so they can help you understand how to navigate those, what you really need to do. Do you need a sales tax number? Do you not need a sales tax number, right? How do you register with the state? Do you need a business license? Do you not need a business license? All those little nagging questions they can help you with. And then they also have resources, local resources like us here in Orem. We partner with Utah Valley University, and we offer some classes, clinics, and workshops, most of them which are free, as well as our one-to-one private, confidential business advising. But it just kind of depends. Each center offers a little bit different offerings, but always there's that confidential business advising. So that's very helpful. The other one main thing that we'll do, besides really what it is, it's like the Cliff Notes version of how to start a business. So you can go to school and get a business degree and take a while and learn the lingo and all that. But if you're in the moment and you really want help, you sit down and talk to an SBDC advisor and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. And then they say, oh, well, do you understand this? No, let me explain it. Okay, so this is how you would do it. And here's some resources that maybe will help you. So it is kind of like the Cliff Notes version of some business help. And that includes also some funding. So we help people know where to get funding and what's available locally. Like here in Utah, I have a few different sources. Now, let me say this right off the bat, though. If you have been getting emails that there are grants for women to start businesses, be very suspicious, because mostly people just want you to pay them money to tell you where the grants are, and then you'll find out, oh, there that many grants, if any. So be suspicious. Mostly if you're for profit, you've got to bootstrap that or borrow money from folks and get that, focus on making money. That's really where you want to focus anyway. You don't want to write grants and compete. And I mean, you can if you want, but it's a lot of effort. So, but if you do want to see what you have locally as far as funding, not grants necessarily, but loans or small alternative lending or traditional bank lending and credit union lending, the SBDC can help you know what they're going to ask for. So what does the application look like? What's an SBA backed loan versus a regular loan? And that is just that the SBA, so back in the 80s, the SBA used to hand out money, and then guess what? They found out they're really bad at it. I mean, they're good at giving it out. They're just really bad at getting it back. So they changed the program and they said, okay, we're going to partner with banks and credit unions to have an SBA backed or insured loan. And it gives you, it helps the bank feel a little more comfortable about lending to businesses because they get an 85 to 90%, the SBA will pay them back if you don't, if the loan doesn't work out and you can't pay them back. They do come after your collateral, the SBA does, but it helps the banks lend more freely. And as the borrower, you get 7 years to pay it back, and the bank can't call that early, which is great. And they also cap the interest rate, so they can't charge you crazy high interest rates. So there's some definite benefits to SBA backed loans. I tell people that when you're 2 years in and your business is doing pretty well and you've got some good financial statements, right? You're keeping your financial statements. You go to the bank or credit union of your choice and you ask them to give you a line of credit. And when do you ask for that line of credit? You ask for it when you don't need it. Yes, this is banker logic, right? When you don't need money, that's when you ask for it. So go get a line of credit, and then it's like a credit card. It's like so you can charge stuff on it and pay it down, charge stuff on it and pay it down. And if it's an SBA backed line of credit, then you just have to pay it all off once a year. And you've got that capped interest rate, which is great. Anyway, so that's one tip. When you are doing really well 2 years in, go get a line of credit for your business, okay? And then just stressful things, you've got a little bit of cushion there. Let's see. We can also talk about like microloans here in Utah. We've got a microloan, the Utah UMLF, Utah Microloan Fund, and they are an alternative lender. So if banks won't lend to you, many times alternative lenders will. They still want a whole package. The UMLF actually wants a pitch in front of a board. It's a 7-minute pitch, so it's not a ton, but then you answer questions about your business for 20 minutes. So that's another way in Utah to fund a business. They'll lend up to $50,000. And the SBA has helped them with their microloan fund. So I think it's over $35,000 to $50,000. Then you've got those same SBA guarantees, which is awesome. So the SBDC, we help you know, oh, okay, what kind of finances do I need? Do I need to have my tax records for the last 3 years? The answer is yes. And is it going to be personally guaranteed, or can I just have the business take care of it? No, they're going to want you to personally guarantee that. So we just kind of demystify that whole process and help you with it. We'll even, look over your business plan if you're writing one and help you edit it or help you find content for it. We won't write it for you because you don't want somebody to write your business plan for you. I mean, you might want them to, but you really don't want them to, because you know your business and you need to know your business. The business plan is really a 360-degree walk around your business to make sure you've got all the pieces and parts, you've assessed them all and they all fit together well. For example, what if you were going to open a trampoline house? We've got one here, Hang Time, Lowe's. We've got a couple of different trampoline locations. And you thought this would be great. I found a warehouse. I know how, I've got some trampoline equipment coming in. I can find a front desk and I get a point of purchase sale. I've got some waivers. This is great. So you sign a lease on that building without really walking all the way around. And then you realize, oh, hey, I need to get liability insurance because, trampoline accidents, they happen. So you've already got that building. You already have the equipment coming in. And you go to a broker or your insurance agent and you say, hey, I'm opening this business. I need business liability insurance. And they go, rifle, trampolines. Okay. And they come back and they say, okay, that'll be $10,000 in insurance. And you're like, whoa, okay, well, I knew it was going to be something. And then they say, that's $10,000 a month, which is your average trampoline house insurance. Now, if you hadn't factored that into your startup, right? Whole different story. You've already signed a lease. You're on the hook. So yeah, the business plan, it doesn't have to be a novel. Matter of fact, it's not a novel. It is a research paper, maybe a little bit of persuasive essay, but you just go and research all the sections that you need to know as a business owner. And then you think, okay, this is going to work. I'm going to make this happen. Or, you know what? This is way too risky. I'm not going to do that. So the SBDCs will help you with those. We'll kind of say, all right, we can help you move through that and really understand your business before you get started. And, or if you're ready to expand, if you're ready to go, okay, we're doing really well, let's take it to the next level, right? You want to, and it doesn't have to be a long drawn out business plan. It can be, there are lots of different formats. So anyway, that's another thing we help out with, as well as connecting to the different resources in your area. For us, for example, we have a clinic where, matter of fact, I'm just going to share my screen and brag a little bit about our, and I have to have the ability to share screen just quickly. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So here's our website. Let me make it a little bigger. Okay. So here's our website, and there's that free business advising. We have training events. That's your more traditional class. Let's go look at those. Right now, we have how to build a team, what you need to know about employee benefits when you're going to get that first employee. And if you're selling stuff on your website, this is our psychographic class. Okay. These are all free. You go down here, you click and register for that class if you want it. We also have a startup class that we offer once a month. Right now, these are, we're going to do our first in-person class here, but we're going to do Zoom in person. This one's Zoom. This one is in person as of next class. So we have those. I also wanted to show you, where's classes right there. These clinics, I love these clinics. This is where you can jump on and have a facilitator help you with, and possibly a small group. So a workshop is a Q&A. So it's a question and answer. There's no really set class. So for example, the social media workshop, you can have 3 or 4 people jump into this workshop and you can say, okay, I am trying to do this. What do you recommend? Where should I focus in social media? And she'll say, oh, who's your target market? What are you trying to accomplish? And then give you some advice on where and what to do for your social media. And you can come back in 2 months and say, hey, I'm doing that and I'm kind of stuck here. And she'll give you some advice there. And that's with all the people in the class. So a little workshop. There's how to schedule your time. This is a really interesting workshop. It's relatively new. QuickBooks, if you're doing some accounting, insurance, if you have insurance questions, WordPress, if you're making your own website and you get stuck with WordPress, you can jump on here once a month and ask questions. Now, clinics are a one-to-one confidential meeting with a professional. Now, you only get 15 to 20 minutes, so have your questions ready to go. But you can meet with a tax planner and say, okay, for my business taxes, my LLC, should I still be filing as a sole proprietor or should I roll over to my S Corp filing or whatever questions? Am I keeping these books right? Then we've got a legal for contracts where he'll give you general legal advice. He's not going to review contracts online, but it's great to just talk to a lawyer for 15 minutes. And if you feel like, I've got some intellectual property, what would it look like to get that protected? We have these guys volunteer once a quarter. So So those are some of the things that we have available for resources just to help people out. The other thing we've got is a whole bunch of templates and documents, right? Here is your pro forma income statement, which we're gonna talk about in just a minute. So the gray columns are Google Docs, the white columns are Microsoft products. So I've got the same documents in 2 separate formats. But if you're thinking, oh, business plan, that sounds scary, start with the pre-biz sketchbook, and that gives you some questions and things. And then, yeah, income statement to keep track of things. Here's a full-fledged business plan right over here. Or if you're going to business with somebody, make sure you have an operating agreement before you really, sit down and answer these questions together so you're all on the same playing field. Okay, so what else do I want to talk to you about? Okay, so let's talk about, this is my pro tip. It's how to keep your financials. When you're first getting started, I'm going to tell you an old school but very effective method. Okay, let's bring up this pro forma income statement. If it will show up. Can you guys see this still? Great. Okay, so here you can just download a copy of this in your Google Drive. And what you want to do is get a 3-ring binder or the electronic version of a 3-ring binder. I get one that's at least 1.5 inches wide. And then 12 sheet protectors. And sheet protectors are those clear plastic things, the slit at the top, you slide sheet music in. Yeah, you get 12 of those and you permanent marker 1 month on each one. So one of them is January, one of them is February, one of them is March. And you slide those into your 3-ring binder, you clip them in, and then anything paper that has to do with your business in March, let's say, you put into the March sheet protector and you just don't worry about it. You just stick it in there. Is it a receipt? Is it an invoice? Is it is it a payment? Is it whatever it is, you just put it in there. And then when March is finished, within a week or so, I always say that you pick a day when you're going to be rested and you're not going to be interrupted, and make it a regular time, right? If you have to get up 6 a.m. on Thursday morning, the second Thursday of the month, do that. Or whatever, and you block out about 30 minutes. You open up your spreadsheet right here. You open up your binder. You take out all the papers from March, right? Because March just finished. And then you go through and you put all those little papers in their categories. So sales, what sales did I make in March? Well, maybe I have 2 sales categories. Maybe it's retreats and maybe it's speaking, let's say, or maybe it's book sales, right? So you write down all of and add them, right? Do equals, number, plus number, plus number, and they'll add themselves, which is kind of the beauty of a spreadsheet. And then you put in all those expenses that you had. Are you paying hosting fees every month? Well, make this other hosting fees and write that. Oh, I paid my hosting fee this month. I did some extra advertising this month. So this is what I did. I had some mileage. Just keep track of it. And literally, if you do that, your accountant will sing your praises. Or if you're your own accountant, you will pat yourself on the back for days, because this will keep everything ordered. You know where to find it, and it's easy. Ladies, it's very easy. So that's my tip, is keep your receipts and any other paperwork. And you can obviously do this electronically as well. And then once a month, put it into your income statement. And so that's a great way to do that. Yeah, so mileage is the other thing you want to keep track of. And there are some free mileage apps like Hurdler. They take a little bit of getting used to, right? You have to remember, but some of them are very intuitive. And you want, whenever you're traveling from your home or another location to a business gathering or a business purpose, like you have to go buy, maybe you're going to do some flyers and you've got to go buy a ream of paper at, Staples. So that trip from your house to Staples and back, keep track of that mileage, because you can write that off as a business expense, and you'd be surprised at how much it adds up to over the year. So keep track of your mileage and put your expenses in those sheet protectors and then into the spreadsheet, and that will be great. Let's see. Hurdler. Just look up mileage apps, top 10 free mileage apps. Okay. A lot of them have stepped away from the free, but I still like the free ones. You know, the old school way to do it is you go to Staples and you get a little log book. It's called an auto log, and you duct tape it to your car steering wheel. And when you get in the car, oh, is this a business trip? You quickly write in the date, the business trip purpose, and the beginning odometer reading. And then you close it and you go on your way. That's, I mean, if you're like, ugh, apps, then just use the old fashioned way of a little log in your car. But there's a bunch of, yeah, Hurdler. I think that's how it is, except without the E. They left the E out. Let's see, were there any other questions? Let me give you another tip. Maybe somebody can go through and see if I've answered all of these chat questions instead of me like looking through going, oh. But if you're doing a home-based business, I highly recommend a book, and that is the Lower Your Taxes Big Time. This is a great home-based business tax book. It just helps you know right there. This is a great one. You probably want to buy it after April 15th because the price goes down. But this is a very good book. I would read the first chapter, and then you can jump around in the book and find out, okay, what are the rules for mileage? What are the rules for eating out with a business contact? What are the rules for travel for business, right? What are the rules for hiring family members for business? All of these things. So this is a great book. Nolo also does an excellent one. The name's just a little less catchy. It's Nolo Tax Savvy for Small Business. It's a good one too. So if your library has any of these, great, then you don't have to buy it. But these are nice to have. Get a used copy. Just get it as recent as it is. Like, don't get anything older than 2018 because lots of tax rules changed. And then use a highlighter, go through, go, oh, okay. And suddenly your IRS form, which irs.gov, I don't know if any of you remember when we had to wait for the IRS to send forms to the library and the post office. Now you just go here and say, oh, I want some forms. And then you go, okay, Schedule C. Whoops, except you have to spell it correctly. Okay, so right here, Schedule C. And even if you're a single member, like a single owner LLC, you're probably still going to do the Schedule C. And this is what it is. See all these categories right here? These expenses are how your spreadsheet is set up for the most part to track these, because it's how you enter your taxes at the end of the year. So you need to know the rules for these expenses, and that's what those books are for, so you know the rules. Because paying taxes is a game like everything else, and you just need to know what the rules are so you make good decisions. Here's where you put your mileage down right here, and that's it. Like, that's it, ladies. If you keep pretty good records, you're like, oh yeah, been boom, boom, done. So this is the taxes part. Don't let it scare you, because it's okay. If you have partners, it's a little more complicated, but still pretty straightforward. Keep those spreadsheets and you'll be very grateful. Yeah, sticky notes are great too. I agree. Let's see. We talked about.
I know we're getting close to time being out. This is so fantastic. Are you guys loving this? Like, this has just saved you like a whole year. I just want you to know, this is like so fantastic. So really quickly, if anybody has a question, go ahead and put it in the chat or just unmute. But a couple of questions I wanted to ask is, what is the number one problem that you see, especially with women starting businesses? What's the number one thing that you see that could be avoided?
Probably the number one problem is not understanding your target market. You need to do your target market research because you can put a lot of effort and love into a business. And if you don't understand who the target market actually is, then you end up doing a lot of pivoting and sometimes you lose your momentum and then it's just hard, right? So be careful with the money that you're spending, right? Make sure that you need to spend it, and watch out for scams. In Utah, once you register a business, they will send you something about Department of Labor posters, and they'll send you a letter about you need to get a business certificate, which you don't. So always double check. If somebody sends you something in the mail and says you have to do this, make sure that you have to do it. Don't waste your money, right? An EIN is free to get. It takes 7 minutes. Don't pay anybody to get an EIN, right? So watch out. People try and sell you stuff all the time, but understanding your target market is huge. You know, the 3 questions: what problem are you solving, or what opportunity are you giving? But mostly, what problem are you solving? How do you solve it uniquely? And what value are you bringing to the customer? You've got to answer those 3 questions really well for your target market or target markets. Start with 5, whittle it down to 3, but have a clear message. This is the problem I'm solving for you. This is how I do it uniquely and is amazing. And this is the value it's going to bring to you by you know, purchasing this from me. So that's the key. Hone in on that target market, do a little testing, little test here, little test here, little survey there, little, and just step a little at a time until you really understand that target market. Then go for it, because you've heard them, you've heard their problems, what they need solved, and how valuable it is for them to, you know, for you to solve that. That's the key.
Absolutely love. So awesome. This just makes us feel very validated. This is fantastic. Does anybody, we're going to open it up for any questions for a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any specific questions for Camille? This has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
She packs so much into a short period of time. I just love it. She's just so my kind of gal. Anybody have any questions that they want to ask? If you want to just raise your hand or unmute.
So do we go to UVU to get these services, the uvu.edu? Is that the website?
Yes, it's with the SBDC. Yeah, I should put those. I have a couple of the links. I'll put them in the chat for the spreadsheet and the workshops. And what you do is you go to that website and you hit register, or I want an appointment, and you fill out a form. I wish the form was easier, but I don't have control on that. And then my folks at my front desk will call you and set up an appointment. And we do Zoom, we do in person, we do phone calls. So just set up a half an hour to an hour appointment, and your advisor, because there are 4 of us here, will speak to you about where you are, where you're trying to go, and we'll map out a path for you and give you any relevant resources we think. So did that make sense? So yeah, go and say, I want to register,
Yes.
or just call the front desk.
And it's free. I'm just like, I'm so shocked about that.
Yeah, these are your tax dollars coming back to serve you.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So is there anything we would need to do to prepare for that, or that you would want us to bring to that appointment? Just like what's in our head, or?
What's in your head is usually enough, because we
Okay.
really want to know where you want to go and where you're stuck,
Mhm.
right? And that can be everything from, oh, do I need something from the state for this? Do I need a city business license? Or it can be, I don't know how to find my target market. You know, I keep doing this and it's not working. I mean, we're kind of generalists here, our counselors, the advisors, but we really want to hear where you are, what's stopping you, and if you know, and where you're trying to head. And that gives us an idea of, oh, okay, now we know, you know, what we can bring to the table for you.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if you've got spreadsheets and you want us to look at your financials, we can go through that too. Oh, I just accidentally put in the links with with no headings. So the top one's the SBDC page, and the bottom one is the second one is the workshops. And then the big one at the bottom is to that spreadsheet that I was showing you, that income statement.
So fabulous. I loved your additional take on that with the sleeves, 1 per month. That's like genius. It's so simple. It's
It's so
genius.
simple.
Instead of these
Yeah.
big manila envelopes or the file folders and stuff falls out, and so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, we're gonna let Camille go, but is there any, just if anyone has any last question, please ask it. But I want to ask you in closing, is there one piece of small business advice, especially for women business owners? Is there one piece of advice that comes to mind that you're like, this has been a solid for several years?
Let's see. There are a bunch of women business networks, and that's huge for women. I'm super excited about what you guys are doing and how you put together, this group. It's awesome. There are several other networks you can get support from, and that are a little more generalized. This is really specific and awesome. Don't be afraid to connect with like the Women's Business Network or Braid or the Women's Business Center. It has they're putting a directory together of women businesses in Utah. So that's a great thing just to tap into, because a lot of us would rather buy from a woman. Let's just say that. So you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's totally true. And I think, that's a really good time for us as this rise is happening for women who are being mom ands or being, being a professional business owner or whatever, that we get the help and the tools with each other and synergize with all of these resources. That's what women do so well, is we like, okay, who can we help and who can help us, right? Love it.
Yeah.
Camille, thank you so much. We so appreciate your time. This has been fantastic. And like they had someone asked in there, just so you know, check your local SBDC, that's Small Business Development Center, and check your local one and see what resources and what website they have, because they have them all over, so they have it. So check for that.
And Arizona has some good ones. Yep, they do. And so yeah, go find them. And there's usually more than one. There's usually just one for your area, but sometimes, there's more than one. So you can, and in these days of Zoom and phone call, just find that advisor that just clicks with you. So yeah. Well, good luck, ladies. I'm super excited for all that you're doing. So
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Bye.